It was 2 a.m., and I was dragging myself home after a brutal shift, my eyes burning from staring at the road too long. I'm a delivery driver, 28 years old, living out in rural Ohio, and this happened back in late 2022. The highway was dead, just me and the hum of my engine, when that stupid gas light blinked on. I spotted a 24-hour station up ahead, one of those grimy spots with flickering fluorescent lights and a clerk who doesn't even look up from their phone. I pulled in, the cold hitting me as I stepped out, and started filling up. The pump clicked slow, each tick echoing in the quiet. I was the only car there, or at least that's what I thought. The lot glowed that sickly yellow, but beyond it, the dark felt thick, heavy, like it was pressing in on me. I rubbed my hands together, trying to warm up, and glanced around. The clerk was still zoned out inside, the security camera above the door hanging by a wire, useless. It was just another night, I told myself, nothing weird, nothing to worry about. But I couldn't shake this feeling, this itch on the back of my neck, like the silence was too loud. I tried to focus on the pump, watching the numbers crawl up, but the air felt off, like something was waiting out there in the shadows. I was halfway done filling the tank when I saw it, someone standing at the edge of the lot, just outside the light. I squinted and made out a tall figure in a long dark coat, face swallowed up by the shadows. At first, I figured it was some drifter, maybe looking for a lift, no big deal. But then he started moving, slow, steady steps right toward me. And here's the thing, I didn't hear a sound. No gravel crunching, no footsteps, just this guy gliding closer. My gut twisted, but I'm not the type to freak out easy. "Hey, you okay?" I called out, my voice sounding sharper than I meant it to. Nothing. No answer, no reaction, just him walking, closing the gap. He got closer, and that's when I saw his eyes, wide, unblinking, locked on me like he could see straight through me. My heart started pounding, and I yanked the nozzle out, gas splashing on the ground. "All right, man, I'm done here," I muttered, diving into my car. I slammed the door, hit the locks, and floored it out of there, tires screeching. I couldn't help it. I checked the rearview mirror. He was just standing there, dead center in the road, staring after me. Those eyes didn't move, didn't blink. They just watched, like they were following me even as the station faded away. I didn't stop driving till I got home, gripping the wheel so tight my hands hurt, my pulse racing like crazy. I locked every door, checked every window, and didn't even try to sleep that night. The next day, still shaken, I pulled up my dashcam footage, hoping I'd caught something, anything, to make sense of it. But when I got to that part, where he should have been, it was just static, flickering, buzzing, like the tape had been erased. I haven't gone back to that gas station since, not even in daylight. I don't know what I saw. Maybe I was just exhausted, maybe it was some creep messing with me, or maybe something else. All I know is those eyes are still with me, burned into every late night drive I take. It was late 2023, and I was finally drifting off to sleep after a long day, alone in my quiet little house in a Texas suburb. I'm a single mom, my name's Sarah, and my 6-year-old son was tucked in down the hall. The only sound, the faint hum of the AC. I'd just started to slip into that hazy place between awake and dreaming when it hit me like a jolt. 3 slow, heavy knocks on the front door. My eyes snapped open, heart thudding in my chest. It was past midnight, way past, and the house had been dead silent until that moment. I lay there, frozen, telling myself it was nothing, maybe the wind or a branch. But deep down, I knew better. No one should be out there at 3 a.m., not in this sleepy neighborhood where the streets roll up by 9. I reach for my phone on the nightstand. The screens glow harsh against the dark. No missed calls, no texts, nothing to explain it. I held my breath, straining to hear anything else, hoping it was a one-off. The house felt too still, like it was holding its breath with me. I'd almost convinced myself I'd imagined it when it came again. 3 more knocks, louder this time, deliberate, like someone was testing me. My stomach dropped. Who, or what, was out there? I couldn't just lie there anymore. I slipped out of bed, my bare feet cold on the floor, and crept to the living room window, heart hammering so loud I could hear it in my ears. I nudged the blinds apart, just enough to peek out. Nothing. The porch was empty, the street beyond swallowed by darkness. No car, no shadow, no sign of life. But those knocks, they'd been real. I was sure of it. I stood there, staring, waiting for something to move, when suddenly my son's voice cut through the silence, sleepy and confused. "Mom, why's there a lady at my window?" My blood turned to ice. His room's on the 2nd floor. There's no way anyone could be up there. No ladder, no tree close enough. I spun around, grabbing my phone to call 911, my hands shaking so bad I could barely swipe the screen. But when I pressed call, all I got was silence. No dial tone, no static, just dead air. Then the knocking stopped, abrupt, like someone flipped a switch. I bolted to my son's room, every step feeling like a mile. I pushed the door open. He was asleep, curled up under his blanket, peaceful as ever. I checked the window, locked tight. Nothing outside but the empty night. My phone buzzed back to life in my hand, the signal suddenly fine, like it had never dropped. I didn't sleep after that. I couldn't. The next morning, I pulled up the footage from my security camera, desperate for answers. My hands were still trembling as I hit play. There it was. 3 knocks, loud and clear, then 3 more, just like I'd heard. But the porch, empty. No one was there. Not a soul, not a shadow. I watched it over and over, the sound echoing in my head, but the screen showed nothing. I asked my son about what he'd said, that lady at his window. He just blinked at me, confused, and said he didn't remember saying anything. Didn't remember waking up at all. I don't know what happened that night. Was it a prank that didn't leave a trace? A nightmare I somehow lived through? Or something watching us, waiting? I couldn't stay in that house after that. A month later, I packed up and moved, and I still don't have an answer. I'm Mike, a trucker who's been hauling freight across the country for years, and this happened to me in early 2024, out on a lonely stretch of Nevada back road. It was one of those foggy nights where the haze swallows everything. My headlights barely cut through it, just painting a weak glow a few feet ahead. I'm used to long, quiet drives, just me and the rumble of my rig, but that night felt wrong. The radio kept fritzing out, cutting to static no matter how I fiddled with it, and the air in the cab felt thick, heavy, like it was pressing down on me. I'd been on the road for hours, miles from anything. No towns, no gas stations, just endless dark and fog. Then, up ahead, I saw her, a figure standing on the shoulder, barely visible through the mist. I squinted, trying to make her out. She was small, pale, just standing there with her thumb out, like she'd been waiting for me. I don't usually pick up hitchhikers, too many weirdos out there, but something about the night, the isolation, made me slow down. I figured I'd at least see what was up. The closer I got, the stranger it felt, like the fog was hiding more than just the road. I eased the truck to a stop and rolled down the window. She was young, maybe 20s, wearing this thin white dress, her hair dripping wet like she'd been caught in a downpour, except it hadn't rained all night. "Where you headed?" I asked, keeping my voice steady. She didn't say a word, just stepped up, opened the door, and climbed into the cab. She sat there, staring straight ahead, hands folded in her lap, not even glancing my way. I tried again. "You okay? Where you going?" Nothing. Just silence. The heater was blasting, but when her arm brushed mine as she settled in, her skin was ice cold, like she'd been standing in a freezer. I shook it off. Maybe she was in shock or something, and pulled back onto the road. We drove for about 10 minutes, the fog thickening, the static on the radio buzzing louder. I kept stealing glances at her, trying to figure her out. She didn't move, didn't blink, just stared out the windshield, her face blank. Then I looked over again, and she was gone. The seat was empty. My heart slammed into my chest. I hit the brakes hard, the truck lurching to a stop. The door was still locked. I'd have heard it if she'd opened it. I checked the cab, under the seats, everywhere. Nothing. I stepped outside, the fog curling around me. No footprints in the dirt, no sign she'd ever been there. Just me, alone again, with that cold still lingering in the air. I made it to the next truck stop, in a daze, hands shaky on the wheel, replaying it over and over. I asked around, half expecting someone to laugh it off. But this old driver at the counter went quiet when I described her. He said there was a girl who died on that road decades ago, car crash, late at night, wearing a white dress. They say she still shows up, hitching rides, vanishing before you get too far. I'm not one for ghost stories, I've never believed in that stuff, but I haven't taken that route since. Was she real? Was my mind playing tricks after too many hours awake? I don't know, and I don't want to find out. All I know is that empty seat and that cold touch still haunt me every time I drive through the fog.